Have you ever found yourself caught in the whirlwind of mixed signals? One moment, she's all smiles, hanging on to your every word, and the next, she feels as distant as the stars. The truth is, navigating the ever-shifting dynamics of modern dating is no easy feat. It stirs frustration, sparks self-doubt, and leaves many wondering, what am I doing wrong? But here's the kicker. It's not about what you're doing wrong. It's about unlocking the secrets to understanding this intricate dance and taking control of your emotional narrative. You see, there's a hidden truth behind her hot and cold behavior, and it's not as mysterious as it seems. Often, it's a test of your emotional resilience, your ability to remain grounded when things feel unsteady. And this is where Stoicism becomes your superpower. Let's get something straight. Common advice like just ignore her or play games back only scratches the surface. What you really need is a complete transformation in how you approach these situations, a shift that not only helps you manage the chaos but also turns the tables in your favor. Imagine stepping out of the cycle of frustration and into a world where you command respect, exude confidence, and master the art of connection. So, are you ready to uncover the secrets? If you're nodding, let's dive in. By the time we're done, you'll have the tools to navigate her unpredictable behavior with grace, strategy, and unwavering poise. Stay with me, because this is where things get exciting. 1. Respect your time and set boundaries. Let's start with the most precious resource you have, your time. Think about it. How many hours have you spent overanalyzing her one-word texts or staring at your phone, waiting for a reply that never comes? Be honest. How often have you sacrificed your plans, your energy, or even your peace of mind for someone who doesn't seem to value your effort? Here's the truth most won't tell you. Every moment you spend chasing someone who treats you as an option is a moment stolen from your own growth, your goals, and your happiness. Time is a finite resource, and the most successful people, both in life and in relationships, know how to guard it fiercely. When someone gives you the cold shoulder, it's not a signal to chase harder. It's a wake-up call to reevaluate where your energy is going. Let's pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what does it say about me if I'm willing to invest in someone who doesn't reciprocate my effort? Stoicism teaches us to find clarity in such moments. Instead of reacting impulsively or clinging to hope, take a step back and ask, does this align with my values? Am I respecting myself by continuing to pursue this connection? Here's the actionable shift. Give the situation space. And I don't mean playing hard to get or manipulating her into missing you. I mean genuinely taking a step back, not to change her behavior, but to regain your emotional balance. Use this pause as an opportunity for self-reflection. What do you truly want in a partner? Does her inconsistent behavior align with the relationship you envision for yourself? Imagine this. You text her, and instead of receiving a warm, enthusiastic response, you get one-word replies, or worse, radio silence. What do most people do in this situation? They double down, sending follow-up texts, or worse, overthinking every interaction. But not you. Instead, you take a deep breath, remind yourself of your worth, and decide to let it be. You spend those days focusing on yourself, your goals, your friends, your passions. After a few days, you reach out with a simple, direct message. Hey, I've been thinking about you. I want to catch up this weekend. Her response will tell you everything you need to know. If she's excited and makes an effort, great. If she's distant or dismissive, you've gained clarity and avoided further emotional investment. Either way, you've stayed true to your value, respecting your time. But here's where the real magic happens. By stepping back and respecting yourself, you send a powerful message, not just to her, but to yourself. You're saying, I value my time and energy too much to chase after someone who isn't sure about me. And guess what? That self-respect is magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and know their worth. So, next time you find yourself caught in the dance of hot and cold, remember this. Your time is precious. Don't waste it on someone who doesn't see its value. Set boundaries, stay composed, and focus on the relationships that reflect the respect you deserve. Are you starting to feel the shift? Good, because we're just getting started. Keep reading. What comes next will take your understanding to a whole new level. 2. Focus on your goals and personal growth. Let me ask you this. How much of your time and mental energy are you dedicating to figuring her out, analyzing every message, and deciphering her behavior? Be honest. Has this consumed you to the point where your own priorities are taking a back seat? If so, it's time to flip the script and put the spotlight where it belongs, on you. Here's the secret that high-value men know. Your goals, your passions, and your personal growth are the most attractive things about you. Why? Because nothing commands respect and admiration like a man who is driven, purposeful, and unshakably confident in his own path. When you're focused on building a life you're proud of, her mixed signals start to feel insignificant. Think about it. Are you prioritizing her over your ambitions? Are you putting your career, hobbies, or personal development on hold just to keep her attention? If the answer is yes, it's time for a wake-up call. You cannot build a fulfilling life by chasing someone else's approval. Instead, channel all that energy into your goals. Have you been wanting to launch a project, pursue a fitness routine, or develop a new skill? Now is the perfect moment. When you're immersed in your own growth, you stop waiting for her to validate you. And here's the twist. When you start thriving on your own, it often shifts the dynamic in your favor. People are naturally drawn to someone who exudes confidence and self-sufficiency. Let's imagine a scenario. You're working hard on a side hustle or pursuing a fitness goal. Your days are filled with purpose, your focus is sharp, and you're making visible progress. Meanwhile, she's still giving you mixed signals. But now, instead of feeling frustrated, you simply don't have time to dwell on it. You're too busy leveling up. And suddenly, when she sees that you're thriving without her constant attention, her curiosity might peak. But by then, the power dynamic has shifted. You're no longer chasing her approval. She's drawn to your growth and independence. Now, let's bring this back to you. What is one goal you've been procrastinating on? It could be something big, like starting your dream business, or something simple, like committing to a healthier lifestyle. Whatever it is, make the decision today to start. Even small, consistent steps will build momentum. And as you grow, you'll notice something extraordinary. The fulfillment you get from pursuing your goals far outweighs any fleeting attention from someone who isn't sure about you. Here's the beauty of this approach. It doesn't just make you more attractive to her or anyone else. It transforms your entire life. When you focus on your passions and prioritize your own happiness, you're building a foundation of self-respect and confidence that no one can take away. This is the essence of Stoicism, controlling what you can, your actions and growth, while letting go of what you cannot, her mixed signals. And here's where you come in. I want you to take a moment and think about your next step. Is it applying for that new position, signing up for that class, or hitting the gym? Whatever it is, share it in the comments below. Let's turn this into a community of people who inspire each other to grow. If this resonates with you, hit that like button as a sign of commitment to your personal growth journey. By focusing on your goals, you're not just shifting the relationship dynamic, you're reclaiming your life. You're showing yourself and the world that your happiness isn't dependent on anyone else. And when you embody that kind of strength, trust me, people can't help but take notice. So what's stopping you? Let's make today the day you start. 3. Assert your standards. Picture this. You're dating someone who cancels plans at the last minute, leaves you on read for days, or consistently shows up late without so much as an apology. What do? Many people, desperate to maintain the connection, brush off these red flags, telling themselves, it's not a big deal, or worse, I don't want to seem too demanding. But here's the hard truth. Every time you allow behavior that goes against your values, you're teaching her that it's acceptable to treat you that way. This is where asserting your standards comes in. And no, it's not about being controlling or rigid. It's about communicating your values with clarity and confidence. ensuring that the relationship dynamic is built on mutual respect and understanding. When you let someone know where you stand, you're not pushing them away, you're inviting them to meet you at your level. Now let's break this down. Imagine a scenario where she frequently cancels plans without notice. Instead of shrugging it off or silently stewing, a stoic man would calmly address the situation. He might say, "I value my time, and I really enjoy spending it with you. But when plans are canceled at the last minute, it feels like my time isn't being respected. Can we find a way to make plans that work for both of us?" Notice the tone here. It's assertive but not aggressive. It communicates self-respect without being confrontational. This approach shows that you value yourself and the connection, and it gives her a clear opportunity to step up. But what happens if the behavior continues? That's when you must draw a line. Stoicism teaches us the power of self-control and prioritizing our inner peace. If someone repeatedly disrespects your standards, it's not your job to keep tolerating it. It's your job to walk away. Why? Because holding on to a connection that diminishes your self-worth will ultimately erode your confidence and happiness. Here's the transformative part. Asserting your standards doesn't just set the tone for how others treat you. It reinforces your own sense of self-respect. When you articulate and uphold your values, you're telling yourself, "I deserve relationships that align with my principles and bring out the best in me." This inner confidence radiates outward, drawing people who respect and appreciate your authenticity. And let's be honest, doesn't a connection built on shared respect and values feel infinitely more fulfilling than one riddled with resentment and compromise? By asserting your standards, you're not just creating healthier dynamics, you're ensuring that the relationships you cultivate are ones that genuinely add value to your life. Now think about your own experiences. Have there been times when you allowed behavior that didn't sit right with you, just to keep the peace? Reflect on how different things might have been if you'd calmly expressed your needs and expectations. It's never too late to start. Assert your standards, stay true to your values, and watch as your connections transform into ones built on mutual respect and authenticity. 4. If she's cold, you're colder. Let's face it, when someone acts cold or distant, the instinctive reaction is to chase. You feel an overwhelming urge to bridge the gap, to understand what went wrong, or to try and reignite the spark. But here's the paradox. The more you pursue, the further she pulls away. This isn't just a game of cat and mouse. It's a reflection of emotional dynamics. And the key to mastering it lies in Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to remain composed in the face of external chaos. When she withdraws, it's not a signal to chase her. It's a challenge to maintain your center. If her behavior is cold, your response must be even colder, not in a callous or vindictive way, but in a calm, composed manner that reflects emotional strength. Why? Because reacting emotionally to her distance only reinforces the imbalance of power. Let's dive deeper. Imagine she suddenly becomes less responsive. Your messages go unanswered or her replies become curt and distant. Many people in this scenario spiral into overthinking. What did I do wrong? Or how can I fix this? But here's the truth. Her behavior is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply a moment where she's pulling back, whether intentionally or not. And your role in this moment is to respond with unshakable composure. When she becomes distant, take a step back. Instead of reaching out with more texts, calls, or invitations, allow the space to exist. Resist the urge to fill the silence. This isn't about playing games or trying to make her miss you. It's about preserving your dignity and showing her that your sense of self isn't dependent on her attention. I think of it like this. If her behavior is a test, whether intentional or subconscious, your calmness is the ultimate answer. By not reacting with desperation, you demonstrate that you are not easily swayed by emotional turbulence. You show her and yourself that you're a person of substance, someone who doesn't crumble in the face of uncertainty. Here's an important caveat. Being colder doesn't mean being dismissive or indifferent. It means staying composed and focused on your life. Continue pursuing your goals, enjoying your hobbies, and engaging with your social circle. This not only keeps you grounded but also reinforces your independence, a quality that's inherently attractive. Picture this scenario. She's pulling away, expecting you to chase her. But instead of flooding her inbox or bending over backward to regain her attention, you quietly shift your focus back to yourself. You're calm, composed, and busy living your life. This response often catches people off guard because it's a powerful display of self-assuredness. It says, I value you, but I won't lose myself in the process of trying to keep you. In many cases, this approach naturally shifts the dynamic. When someone sees that you're unbothered by their coldness, it often prompts them to reevaluate their behavior. But even if it doesn't, you've preserved your dignity and avoided the emotional toll of chasing someone who isn't reciprocating your energy. Ultimately, this isn't about winning or losing. It's about staying true to yourself and maintaining your emotional balance. If she's cold, be colder, not out of spite, but out of respect for yourself. By doing so, you not only safeguard your peace but also set a powerful precedent for how you expect to be treated in any relationship. That's the essence of Stoic wisdom, holding your ground no matter how turbulent the emotional weather may be. 5. Confront issues directly and take a leap of faith. Have you ever felt the tension rise when her behavior becomes inconsistent, when the warm connection you once shared starts to feel distant and cold? It's frustrating, isn't it? And yet, many of us choose silence, letting that frustration simmer, hoping the problem will resolve itself. But here's the truth. Avoiding the issue only deepens the divide. What if, instead of retreating into doubt, you confronted the situation head-on with courage and clarity? Let me ask you, how often do you find yourself wishing for honesty and openness in relationships? And yet, when faced with the opportunity to demand it, hesitation creeps in. Why? Because it's easier to stay silent than to risk rejection. But here's the catch. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in facing discomfort with calm determination. Imagine this. She's distant, her responses are clipped, and the once vivid connection feels like it's fading. Instead of overanalyzing or making assumptions, you reach out calmly and directly. You might say, I've noticed some changes in your behavior. If something's on your mind, I'd like to talk about it. I value honesty and openness, and I hope we can clear the air together. This isn't about accusing or demanding. It's about inviting clarity and demonstrating emotional maturity. By taking this leap of faith, you're showing her and yourself that you're not afraid of the truth. Whether the answer is something you want to hear or not, confronting the issue directly brings freedom from uncertainty. But let's be real. What if the conversation doesn't go the way you hoped? What if she confirms your fears, saying she's no longer interested? Here's the perspective shift. Even in rejection, you've won. Why? Because you've honored your own values and refused to let fear dictate your actions. By confronting the issue, you've avoided wasting more time and energy on someone who isn't aligned with your vision of a relationship. That's a victory in itself. On the flip side, this directness often prompts a deeper connection. When you address her behavior with calm confidence, you're showing her that you're a person of depth and integrity, someone who values clear communication and mutual respect. Many times, this approach rekindles her interest because it highlights your emotional strength and self-assuredness. So let's bring this back to you. The next time her actions leave you confused or frustrated, resist the urge to ignore it. Instead, embrace the discomfort and speak your truth. Ask yourself, what do I have to lose by being honest? The answer is usually far less than what you have to gain. If this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on your past experiences. Have there been moments where direct communication could have saved you from confusion or emotional strain? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's build a conversation around honesty and courage in relationships. And if this has sparked a new perspective for you, give this post a like to let us know. Remember, taking a leap of faith isn't about guaranteeing a specific outcome. It's about taking control of your narrative. It's about showing up as the best version of yourself, calm, composed, and unafraid to face the truth. And that's not just attractive, it's transformational. So what leap will you take today? Let us know. 6. Spark a fire within her by valuing yourself. When someone's behavior shifts unpredictably, when she alternates between warmth and indifference, it's easy to feel like you're losing control. The temptation is to lean in, to try harder to prove your worth. But here's the hard truth. The more you overextend, the more you diminish your value in her eyes. Instead of igniting her interest, you extinguish it by showing her that you'll bend over backward to gain her approval. So what's the alternative? It's simple but powerful. Focus on your own worth. Remind yourself that you're not here to play the role of a toy to be picked up and discarded at someone's whim. You're a person with intrinsic value, someone who deserves respect and authenticity. And the most effective way to spark her interest is to embody that value, not as a performance for her, but as a genuine reflection of who you are. Here's where the shift happens. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, you naturally create intrigue. Imagine she's testing your boundaries, perhaps by canceling plans at the last minute or giving you vague, non-committal responses. Instead of reacting with frustration or overcompensating to win her back, you respond calmly and confidently. You might say, "I understand things come up, but I value my time, and it's important to me that plans are respected." Then you move on with your day focused on your goals and interests. This isn't about playing games or trying to make her jealous. It's about demonstrating through your actions that you have standards and won't settle for less. When she sees that her hot and cold behavior doesn't rattle you, it forces her to reassess her approach. Suddenly, she realizes that you're not like everyone else. You're not dependent on her validation, and that's what makes you stand out. The key here is subtlety. You're not ignoring her or being dismissive, you're simply prioritizing yourself. You're showing her that while you value the connection, your happiness doesn't hinge on her approval. And this is magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and self-assuredness, qualities that are built on a foundation of self-respect. Let's take this a step further. What happens when she notices this shift? Often she'll start putting in more effort. She might test the waters with a kind gesture or an enthusiastic message, trying to gauge your response. And when she does, your job isn't to immediately dive back in with excessive attention. Instead, match her energy, show interest, but stay grounded. Let her see that your sense of worth isn't easily swayed by fleeting changes in her behavior. This dynamic isn't about manipulation, it's about authenticity. By valuing yourself, you're not only sparking her interest, you're creating the foundation for a healthier, more balanced connection. And if she doesn't respond to this shift, that's okay too. You've already won by prioritizing your dignity and preserving your emotional well-being. Ultimately, sparking a fire within her starts with you. It's about recognizing that your worth doesn't come from her actions or attention, but from how you carry yourself and the standards you uphold. When you embrace this mindset, you not only attract deeper connections, but you also cultivate a profound sense of inner peace, one that can't be shaken by anyone else's whims. That's the power of living with purpose and integrity. 7. Regulate the flow. Stay balanced in your approach. When you're navigating a relationship where her attention feels inconsistent, it's natural to feel the pull of insecurity. You might find yourself overanalyzing her words, her silences, or her actions. But here's the thing. The more you let her emotional ups and downs dictate your behavior, the more you lose your sense of balance. And when balance is lost, so is attraction. Think of emotional balance like the flow of a river, steady, calm, and powerful. If you try to push too hard against the current, you'll find yourself exhausted. If you let the current overwhelm you, you'll lose your footing. Instead, the goal is to regulate the flow, maintaining your composure and control, no matter how turbulent things might feel. So, how do you regulate the flow? First, resist the urge to react impulsively. If she cancels plans or seems distant, don't immediately jump to conclusions or respond with desperation. Instead, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and remind yourself of your worth. You might say to yourself, her behavior doesn't define me. I can respond calmly and maintain my dignity. This pause allows you to act from a place of intention rather than emotion. Next, focus on matching her energy while keeping a respectful distance. If she's pulling back, don't push harder. Instead, mirror her pace while staying grounded in your own life. This doesn't mean playing games, it means showing her that you're secure enough not to chase when she steps away. This subtle shift creates a dynamic of mutual respect, where neither party feels pressured or overwhelmed. For example, let's say she suddenly becomes less responsive to your messages. Instead of bombarding her with follow-ups, let her take the lead for a while. Continue living your life, engaging with your passions, and enjoying your time with friends. When she does reach out, respond with warmth and interest, but without the neediness that comes from overcompensating. This approach tells her, I value you, but I also value myself. Here's an important distinction. Regulating the flow isn't about being indifferent or cold. It's about maintaining emotional stability. When you remain calm and collected, you create a sense of trust and reliability, qualities that are deeply attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who can stay steady in the face of uncertainty. Now, let's get personal. Have you ever found yourself reacting too quickly or too intensely in the heat of the moment? How might things have been different if you'd taken a step back, centered yourself, and responded with intention? Reflect on those moments and share your insights in the comments below. Your experience might just inspire someone else to find their own balance. If this approach to emotional regulation resonates with you, show your commitment by hitting that like button. It's a simple way to remind yourself to stay grounded the next time you face turbulence in your relationships. Ultimately, regulating the flow is about creating harmony within yourself. When you master this balance, you not only become more attractive to others, but also more at peace with yourself. And isn't that the ultimate goal? To live with confidence, stability, and the unwavering belief that you are enough, exactly as you are. Let this mindset guide you and watch as the dynamics of your relationships naturally shift in your favor. 8. Don't fabricate stories. Avoid overthinking. It's a familiar scene. She hasn't texted back, or her once enthusiastic tone has dulled. Suddenly, your mind starts to wander. Did I say something wrong? Has she lost interest? Is there someone else? You replay conversations, dissect every message, and create scenarios that spiral into self-doubt. But here's the truth. These stories are just that, stories. They're fabrications of the mind, not grounded in reality. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we know to be true and let go of the rest. Overthinking doesn't provide clarity, it creates confusion. When you build narratives in your head, you're allowing fear and uncertainty to take control, clouding your judgment and undermining your confidence. The key is to stay rooted in facts, not assumptions. Consider this. If she hasn't replied to your text, the only fact you know is that she hasn't replied. Everything else, whether she's lost interest, is upset, or is busy, is speculation. And speculation doesn't serve you. Instead of jumping to conclusions, shift your perspective. Ask yourself, what do I actually know right now? Often you'll find that the answer is far less dramatic than the stories you've created. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. If her behavior changes, it's natural to feel a sense of unease. But rather than letting that unease spiral into overthinking, use it as an opportunity to reflect. Have you noticed a pattern in her actions? Does her behavior align with your expectations for a healthy connection? Approach the situation calmly, armed with observation rather than assumption. Imagine this scenario. You've been on a few dates and suddenly she seems less responsive. Instead of bombarding her with questions or worrying about what went wrong, you pause. You acknowledge your feelings but resist the urge to create unnecessary narratives. You decide to give her space while focusing on your own life. Over time, her actions will reveal the truth, whether she's genuinely interested or if her interest has waned. Either way, you've saved yourself from the mental anguish of overthinking. This approach not only preserves your peace of mind, but also demonstrates emotional resilience. By staying grounded in reality, you project a sense of stability that is both rare and attractive. People are drawn to those who don't let uncertainty rattle them, who can remain composed even in ambiguous situations. Let's be clear. Avoiding overthinking doesn't mean ignoring red flags or settling for ambiguity. If her actions consistently create confusion or fail to meet your standards, It's important to address the issue directly, as we discussed earlier. But until you have concrete evidence, there's no need to let your imagination run wild. This principle applies beyond dating too. In any relationship, whether romantic, professional, or platonic, avoiding fabricated stories allows you to approach challenges with clarity and confidence. It helps you focus on solutions rather than getting lost in the haze of what-ifs. Ultimately, letting go of fabricated stories is an act of self-care. It frees you from the weight of unnecessary worry and allows you to focus on what truly matters, living a life of authenticity and intention. The next time you catch your mind spiraling into overthinking, pause. Remind yourself of what you know to be true and let the rest go. In that calm space, you'll find the strength to navigate any situation with grace and clarity. That's the power of Stoicism in action, embracing reality while maintaining your inner peace. We've journeyed through the complexities of hot and cold dynamics, unpacking how Stoic principles can transform your approach to relationships. Now, let's tie it all together. When faced with mixed signals, the natural response is frustration, an emotional storm that can lead to impulsive reactions. But as you've seen, there's a different path. A composed, deliberate, and confident approach that puts you in control of your own emotional narrative. By respecting your time, prioritizing your growth, asserting your standards, and maintaining balance, you not only navigate these situations effectively, but also emerge stronger and more self-assured. Stoicism isn't just about surviving the ups and downs, it's about thriving in the face of them. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, reactions, and mindset, while letting go of the things we can't, like someone else's inconsistent behavior. This mindset doesn't just make you more attractive, it creates a life filled with purpose, clarity, and resilience. As you reflect on these strategies, ask yourself, which of these steps can I start applying today? Maybe it's setting boundaries with someone who doesn't value your time. Perhaps it's redirecting your energy toward your personal goals. Or maybe it's embracing the courage to address an issue directly, even when it feels uncomfortable. The beauty of these principles is that they go beyond dating. They're a blueprint for navigating all of life's relationships with integrity, strength, and wisdom. And as you master these skills, you'll find that not only do your relationships improve, but so does your sense of self-worth. Now it's time to act. If you found value in this guide, share your thoughts in the comments below. What's one insight that resonated with you most? And if you're ready to take control of your emotional journey, hit the like button and subscribe to continue exploring powerful strategies for personal growth and connection. Share this with someone who might need it, and let's build a community of resilient, thoughtful individuals. Thank you for reading and for being part of this journey. Here's to your growth, your clarity, and your unshakable self-worth. Until next time, stay strong, stay composed, and always remember, you are the strategist of your own life. Let the game begin.